Hey everybody, welcome to the video. Let's go over using LTspice to analyze a circuit. So let's say you have a circuit like this one. The first step is to draw the schematic. So let's start a new circuit here, right here, new schematic. And of all the buttons up here, this would be the one to be most familiar with. This is how you add components. So you can click on this, or you can memorize the hotkey. And whatever you need, you just type it in the search bar. So let's say I want to add a voltage source. You just kind of type voltage, and then of everything here, right, it shows up. So just double click that, and then just click somewhere to plop it down. And then you can press escape, that kind of clears it. Okay, so now let's add some of these resistors. So again, component, and you can just type what you need. Resistor here. And then you can kind of drop multiple, or you see up here are kind of the common components, resistors, capacitors, inductors. So you could just click here, or you can see that hotkey is R, so you can click here, or you can just press R. And then you see these other keys up here. This is an important one, rotate. So the hotkey shows me Control R. So let's say if I pick a resistor, then I press Control R. See how it rotates? So, if I want to add it in this orientation. Okay, I kind of added too many things. So here, there's cut. Just cut some of these things I don't need. How many do I need? 3. Okay. And then there are other tools up here, like you can move things, drag things around, right? If you want to just reposition. Okay. And now this tool here is important to wire things together. So I'll click here, and then you can just wire things together. And there we go, done. Oh, and let's put some values. So if you right click on each component, that little menu pops up. So let's say I want that to be 18 volts. I'll right click on this one. I want that to be 24. Right click here, 36. Right click here. And you can use, let's say you want it to be 18 kilo ohms. You can just type K. All right. Let's try out a different schematic. How about this one? Okay, why don't I just, I'll just recycle some of this. I'll just cut some of these parts out of here, and then I'll just add to it. Okay, so I need 3 more resistors. I'll press R, put one here, and I'll rotate this, put that here, and then here. And now I need a current source. So here, component, then I'll just type current, and here it is here. And if you rotate it, right, you can have it in whatever orientation. So just pay attention to the orientation we want. We want it pointing down like that. Okay, now let's wire it here. Wire. Okay, so let me point something out. Let me finish this first. Okay, and values, this is 30 milli, so I'll type 30 and then small m. And this one is 200. This one here is 120. This one is 180. This is 280, and this is 210. All right. Okay, now let me point something out. by purposely messing it up. Okay, now look at the node here. See this? These two wires are not connected. Let me drag them to show you what I mean. See this? They are not connected. So if you definitely need a node here, make sure there's that dot. So you can purposely wire it like that. So just be careful about that. Sometimes the circuits don't behave as you expect because you miss something like a node there. Okay, and then now let's move on to step 2, which is to simulate. So to simulate, all simulations need a ground. In fact, if you try and run it without a ground reference, it'll warn you. So right here, ground. I'll just plop it somewhere down here and I'll wire it in. And let me purposely make a mistake here. Okay, you see that? That ground is connected to this 200 ohm resistor, but we wanted it to be connected everywhere down here, right? So just be careful of things like that. Now it's connected. Now the ground is connected to the entire bottom over here. Okay, now simulation, there's this little hotkey here, or there's the simulate menu here. Run, and then a menu pops up, because there's one thing you need to enter is how long do you want to run the simulation? 2 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 second. So for probably the majority of this class, everything is DC, so just 1 second is fine. And here we go. And then LTspice made a little note down here that it's a transient response running for 1 second. If I go up here and if I change, see here, edit simulation, change it to 5 seconds, let's say. See the note here changed? Then rerun it. Okay, so now the simulation's done. There wasn't much to it. But now, how do we analyze what's going on in our circuit? So if you just drag your cursor around, you see how this icon pops up of a probe? So this is a voltage probe. Right? If I put it on the nodes, there's this voltage probe icon. But if I drag it across over a component, see the icon changes? Now this is measuring current. So see the icon? Voltage, current. Voltage, current. Right, so if I click here, now up here, it's measuring voltage at this node as a function of time. And if you want to see the number, see right here, it says V. Just click here, and then a menu pops up. And you see, if I drag this cursor, it's measuring voltage, which is not changing, as a function of time. So it's negative 1.8 with respect to my ground reference over here. Now let's say I click this node over here. Right, so now that is this one, which is negative 1.8 volts with respect to my ground reference. And if you click on these twice, you can get 2 cursors. So let's say this cursor is the green one, which is minus 1.8. And then this cursor is the blue one, which is minus 1.08. And this menu does things like measures the difference between the two for you. And then let's say if you want current. So and if you double click, it kind of just shows one thing. So if you, let's say you want current. Well, this one I know is going to be 30 milli. Right, look, 30 milliamps as expected. That's the source. But let's say here, right, this is measuring minus 9 milliamps. Minus meaning it's going the opposite direction of this arrow, so it's going up. And then the current here, minus 15, current here, -6 here. All right, so you can get the current through everything, and you can measure the voltage everywhere. And you can even do things like if I'm hovering over this resistor, if you press Alt, the icon changes to this kind of thermometer bulb, and that actually measures the power, which is just the voltage times the current. Okay, so I'll let you kind of try this out. If you have any trouble, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.